Business News now. Joining us live, the Executive Chairman of Yellow Brick Road Home Loans, Mark Bouris. Mark, good morning to you. Inflation, if it drops to 6% today, we'll start there. We don't know. We're staring at the crystal ball here, but economists say 6.8%, 6.1%. Would you be happy with that?
I would be happy with that. No, if that's the outcome, I don't expect to see a rate rise in the next meeting in July.
Well, you never know. You never know these days, Mark.
That's
the problem.
That's a very interesting thing you say that, Pip, because recently one of the deputy of the Reserve Bank, Miss Bullock, she put out a paper talking about how they would like to see they would like to see unemployment go to 4.5%, and bearing in mind it's around 3.6% at the moment. The only thing that's going to push unemployment to 4.5% is if we have a recession. So the question then becomes, what do we need to cause a recession? Have we done enough to cause a recession, or do they need another rate rise to cause a recession? In other words, what's in their head about getting us to 4.5% unemployment?
And this is over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, next 12 to 18 months. So they are actually expecting unemployment to go to 4.5%, which is quite an interesting scenario, because that sort of suggests to me that they're going to put a lot of pressure on employers not to employ more people, and or employers perhaps even to put people off.
Well, and the interesting, sorry, Mark, the interesting part about that is that, Jim Chalmers, the Treasurer, he's going to be spruiking a better budget bottom line today. Much of that has been driven because of low unemployment. More people have jobs, therefore they're paying more taxes, which benefits the government. But once you get to 4.5% unemployment, then it goes the other way, doesn't it?
Correct, it goes the other way. And we are in this sort of brain damage period where everything's sort of bouncing around the place. And on one hand, we're getting told that, house prices in certain parts of New South Wales in particular have gone down by 30%, like up in the Northern Rivers area, the Richmond area. And then on the other hand, we're getting told that because of the shortage of new housing starts and the high increase in immigration, that there are certain places around Australia, certain postcodes around Australia where the house prices have doubled in the last 12 months. It's sort of out of control.
Let's go there, because I wanted to ask you about this. 10 suburbs where prices doubled the fastest. Boat Harbour, and if you've got a property in Boat Harbour, New South Wales, congratulations to you, because the median price has jumped from $846,000 to $1.7 million. That's the leader. So again, well done if you own a place in Boat Harbour, but it just goes to show some of the big jumps, Mark, that we're seeing in some places.
Well, big jumps, but also we've got big jumps the other way too. Like there are some suburbs or some postcodes around Australia, particularly, as I said earlier, up in the Richmond area, where they've actually come backwards. And there might be sort of internal reasons for that. For example, a lot of the influences that drove house prices up in the Northern Rivers, for example, that's, Byron Bay, all those sorts of areas, is Airbnb. And Airbnb, people paying a lot of money to buy a property which they could then rent out on the Airbnb site. But all of a sudden, there's rule changes in relation to how many days a week you can rent the property out in these various areas, particularly in the Northern Rivers. So much so that these places are no longer attractive. And given interest rates have gone up by the amount they've gone up by, all of a sudden people are saying, I've got to sell. So what we're down to here, Peter, is the old supply and demand story. So in the Northern Rivers, there's greater supply of properties for sale than there is demand. As a result of that, prices go down. In places like Boat Harbour, that's not the case. Obviously, it's not the case. And it's got, therefore, it's reversed. There's greater demand than there is for supply. I don't know why there's demand in those areas. I have no idea. But there's something driving demand. So if you're a buyer, look at the drivers of demand and supply and make your decision where you're going to buy. And that's the place where you should be camping.
All right. Love it. Mark Bouris, good to chat as always. We'll talk to you again soon.